Hello Internet, Zach here, and welcome back to Collecting the Elements. This episode has been almost 3 weeks in the making, as I've been fighting to get this little bit of powdered bismuth metal out of pepto bismol. So, in the footage I'm going to skip over the first week, just because I redo everything from the first week in the second week, just with a lot better preparation, and I have almost 4 hours of footage, and condensing this down into something reasonable has been a bit of a hassle. So anyway, let's go to the kitchen and see how I did this.
Okay. Well, this is the part that I haven't seen yet.
Right, this is the part I've recorded the videos but not posted them yet. So, pepto part 1. Goofy foil seal. Forgot about that.
It happens to the best of us.
Pepto part 2. Get in there. Pepto part 3. Well, the first one I'd already opened, and it was already open.
I mean, at this point, it looks like a gross dessert.
It does.
Like, you know, one of those desserts that your aunt makes for family gatherings, but then no one eats because she's that aunt that can't cook?
Right.
Actually, it's probably some of the same ingredients.
Add and stir, stir.
Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
Yep, that's what happens when you break down the bismuth subsalicylate so it's not pepto anymore.
Wow. How your pink dessert turns white.
Oof. Okay. So yeah, that was right before your eyes.
And that was pretty awesome.
Bismuth subsalicylate plus hydrochloric acid yielding bismuth trichloride, salicylic acid, and water. Thus, it's not pink anymore. Let's warm it up so I can get this to drop out proper crystals that aren't coffee filter clogging messes. And we'll be back when this is warm. Okay, the solution's heated up now. And this one, since I didn't dilute the pepto, there's plenty of, you should come closer, plenty of little gunky stuff that's already separated. So I'm just going to start scooping this out a bit at a time and seeing how well this goes through our coffee filter. That's actually working. I mean, it's steaming up really badly.
Yeah, but you can hear it. So what causes that upper part to separate like that and get funky?
It's a good question, actually. It's probably some of the other ingredients that are in the pepto besides just the bismuth subsalicylate.
Just combining, recombining in different ways.
Yeah, what we got in here? Active ingredient, bismuth salicylate, 525 milligrams. Inactive ingredients, benzoic acid, DNC red number 22, DNC red number 28. Flavor, magnesium aluminum silicate, that could gum up a bit. Methyl cellulose, that could gum up a bit. Purified water, saccharin, sodium, salicylic acid, more salicylic acid. Sodium salicylate, more salicylic acid, and sorbic acid. So I'd say...
Isn't salicylic acid the same active ingredient that's in most facial cleansers?
Bingo. Yes, we've made facial cleanser residue.
Excellent! So, this is a precursor to the facial cleanser.
Indeed. And what's coming through here, if you can get the camera on that, is clear. It's not a cloudy salicylic
Holy
acid
crap!
mess.
Wow!
Yep, that's what it's supposed to do.
So this is what's on top and is all gross and weird and looks
Right.
kind of like melted flesh. And this is what we get out of it.
I mean, it's definitely making progress this time. This is more progress than I made in the entire prior week.
So we've made over a week's progress in 20 minutes.
Yeah, basically.
Our weird fleshy substance.
Right? Taking that coffee filter out, sitting it in the can here so any more fluid in it drains out. Fresh filter and time to start scooping again.
Okay, you've about hit the top of that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it still filters a little bit slowly, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was the first try.
Well, I mean, I looked at that filter that you had upstairs, and that one... that looked like it was a process.
Yeah, yeah. It's gotten really slow, but it's still losing some. Ha 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 ha. Where it's touched the side of the can's made of steel. You'll get bismuth chloride all over you. But where it's touched the side of the can, that's bismuth metal that's been precipitated out.
Oh my god, that's already better.
Gotta let this filter through. And then we can move on to step 2. Or no, add acid is step 1, filter is step 2, add aluminum is step 3.
Step 3. Now, is this going to be a fun reaction? Or is it kind of boring and blah?
It's probably kind of blah.
Well, I mean, nothing really compares to the way that sodium reacts with water.
You haven't seen cesium, have you?
I have not. So this is something that we need to investigate now.
Sure, I just need to find a local source of cesium. I mean, sodium and potassium are going to be easy enough to get locally, but rubidium and cesium, the next two heavier alkali metals, I haven't found a local source of those yet.
You know, we're working on it in Portland, the Cascades area.
Right.
You know, notorious for mineral deposits of high wealth. That was the interesting part. You're out of focus. You're out of focus. Much better, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Jedi mind tricks. You have to use them on camera sometimes. Okay, since the first batch is taking so long to filter over here. I'm going to take this from the second batch that was heated while being stirred, and I'm going to precipitate the bismuth from this first.
And I'm hoping that this is cool like the science experiments that I did in high school.
Well, thermite it ain't. Good old aluminum foil. Tear off a piece for a test, because there's a way to test and make sure that there's bismuth in solution. Can the camera see that? It's turning black.
There's some black spots, yeah.
Yeah, I might have to scratch the foil a little bit more. But
There's that one spot that's definitely turning black.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening here is aluminum metal is displacing the bismuth in the bismuth trichloride, precipitating out bismuth metal and forming aluminum chloride. So, since I know there's plenty of bismuth in here, the reason I showed you that test is that way I know when to stop adding aluminum foil. There is a way to tell when it's when all the bismuth is precipitated. I'm just going to tear this foil up into little pieces, give it more surface area to react with.
Oh wow, look at them just turn black and sink to the... There's a couple that have just sunk.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the foil turns black as it accumulates bismuth metal on it, and slowly goes into solution as aluminum chloride. And the solution is probably acidic enough that there's going to be a little bit of a side reaction with aluminum displacing hydrogen that produces bubbles that'll float the foil pieces to the top.
Oh, neat.
Well, it's not going to produce hydrogen vigorously enough to
Bubble.
light it on fire.
Right.
And this suddenly smells very strongly of wintergreen.
Ooh.
Well, hey, if you're going to generate hydrogen as a byproduct,
Might as well burn it off, right?
yep, might as well have some fun with it. Okay, I'm not seeing any more floating foil chunks, so it may be time to do the test. Bubbles.
Bubbles. Is it getting darker?
Hold it up to the light.
Kinda.
Scratch it.
Yeah, that's getting darker.
Yep, we still have bismuth.
So is it actually completely dissolving the foil?
Yes. Yes, the foil is all being converted to aluminum chloride, which is pretty readily soluble in water. Okay, it was smelling like wintergreen earlier, and now it's smelling like jack-o'-lantern.
Oh.
I mean, kind of like pumpkin, but not in like a pleasant pumpkin spice kind of way.
More in like, we may need to get rid of this pumpkin kind of way.
Yeah.
Like the jack-o'-lantern once he's begun to gain wrinkles.
Right. Okay, so this has been sitting here bubbling for a while. Yep, nice hydrogen bubbles. Anyway, not all of the foil has dissolved, and I even added some of the nasty cloudy solution. Now, of course, my saucepan is full. So, I'm going to pour this off into my pitcher so I can pour it off into the coffee filter.
We might want to do this over the sink.
Yeah, we might.
See? It was a good idea.
It was. Okay.
Sludge.
That's bismuth metal. So let that start filtering through there. That's going to catch a lot of the bismuth. This here, powdered bismuth metal, leftover aluminum. I'm going to add the rest of this solution, now that I have room for it, into here. This should...
And immediately the reaction begins again.
Indeed.
Oh, I smell the wintergreen now. Oh my god. Oh, that's overwhelming.
Alrighty. Okay, so I've been decanting the solution and filtering it, basically decanting it back and forth between this pitcher and that saucepan, and pouring it through the filter when I get down to the bottom, and it's mostly bismuth powder and aluminum. So this is what went through the first two coffee filters. It's mostly bismuth powder with a little bit of residual aluminum. And this here, filtering through, trying to catch as much bismuth as I can. Like I said about decanting the solution back and forth, well, suspension at this point. Try to get off the top layers because bismuth is quite heavy. It tends to settle to the bottom quickly. The last little bit of that, and that's mostly bismuth powder. And this one here can be left to settle and it'll collect its own layer of bismuth powder at the bottom. This is a little faster than just plain filtration. Okay. Now the way I got the bismuth powder into there is to take the filter, just start very slowly squeezing it. And I broke it. That wasn't good. But at this point there's only a little bit of water left, well, solution left. A lot of really gloppy bismuth powder. And some gets stuck in the filter like that. Scrape it off. Here, there's still aluminum floating, but the aluminum is still displacing hydrogen from residual acid.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was exciting. Let's not do that again.
Right. One of those times when having access to real lab equipment, like a nice filter funnel and being able to do a vacuum filtration on this would help massively. Pour the liquid in there. Scrape the bismuth into here as much as I can. Okay, so this has been taking a heck of a lot longer than I was hoping it was going to. So I've just been gathering everything up into this pitcher so I can pour it into this bottle here. And I'm going to let this settle, I would say overnight, except it's probably, what, 4:45 in the morning now?
Something like that.
So I'm going to let this settle over morning and extract the bismuth metal from it after it's all settled out sometime tomorrow. Well, sometime in the next solar cycle. Sometime well after sunrise. Just swirl this around to get the bismuth all nice and mixed up.
I mean, it's always best to be all nice and mixed up.
Right. Yeah, one of those pieces of standard lab equipment that would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Wash bottle. Then I could squirt water in here. Fudge.
All that I can smell is mint and regret.
The minty taste of regret.
Right down. Right down.
Yeah, close enough.
We're calling it holy.
Now we're calling it good enough. Alright, so the leftover bismuth mixture from last night. And it's kind of settling. I left it to settle for a few hours, decanted it, added some water, let it settle again, decanted it, tried to wash the bismuth as much as I could. So now I'm going to decant it one more time. Okay, what's in here I'm going to allow to settle. It is full of finely divided bismuth powder, but what I'm interested in the much clumpier bismuth that should be left in here. The point of decanting was to hopefully have a lot less liquid to filter. Unfortunately, every step of this process has been very slow. So now we wait. Okay, tried gathering up the filter to make this filter a little faster, but I'm noticing black particles getting through, which means I'm losing bismuth. There's probably a hole in my filter somewhere. Okay, let as much liquid out as possible. I'm going to start slowly squeezing the filter, get the liquid out. Alright, setting down some tissue paper. And here inside the filter is some very wet bismuth metal. The layer of tissue paper is to help soak the water out of this. And help dry out the bismuth metal. Actually, to help this dry a little faster, I'm going to put a fan next to it. That'll help dry out my bismuth. Be back soon. The bismuth is getting pretty dry and crumbly, and the coffee filter here is actually starting to crumble. So I'm going to move all this to a new coffee filter. I'm going to load it up into a test tube. There's a hair in there. That looks like quite a bit of bismuth, doesn't it? Alright, I'm going to slowly heat this. Hopefully drive off the remaining water in enough of a confined space that hopefully this isn't going to be attacked by air quite as much as it normally would. First thing that's going to happen is the residual water is going to come off. You can see it recondensing on the cooler part of the tube up here. I think a slightly different method for drying is in order. Time to get the ladle. bismuth here is probably about as dry as I'm going to get it. I'm going to try to load this up into a test tube. Now, I tried doing a trial run earlier where I tried melting the bismuth under wax. And the first trial run I did of this a couple of weeks ago actually worked out great, but I tried this time and no such luck. Alright, bismuth is loaded up in the tube. It's kind of hard to see in there because of the gunk from the trial run. But yeah, there's bismuth in here. So, let's heat it up and hope for the best. Well, I've been fighting with bismuth now for 3 weeks. This is the best I've managed. Some bismuth powder in a little container. So, here's one of the leftover ends from one of the ampoules I made for a successful video. And I'm just going to transfer the bismuth powder into here. Well, I mean, that's it really. So, stick a cork in it, save it for later, because it's not the bismuth sample I was hoping for. It's not the greatest element sample. It's not the sample I wanted to make. But I am going to be looking for bismuth shot at the local camping stores and the like. Hopefully, I'll be able to add this to some already nice and metallic clumps of bismuth, melt the whole mess down, and grow some nice crystals, which will at least contain a few atoms of bismuth from this experiment. So, stay tuned, and you'll get to see that. If you liked the video, hit thumbs up. If you have a friend who you think might enjoy it, hit share. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. See you next time.